talked about with melancholy, if you can't pinpoint exactly where, then you go into the tapping of every day in every way, it's getting better and better. It's getting better every day in every way, it's getting better and better. But I think maybe it had created momentum because there'd be a few things like that. But the nice thing is, and the nice thing is that I think these are things that we keep seeing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So
what you're seeing is you're getting down to some true core issues.
Yeah.
You're really getting down. We have quickly, because some people spend their whole life on the surface shit, getting stuck in the surface stuff, and they never ever, really get down to, a lot of the true causes. And because they're just so taken up in their triggers on their everyday life. They're so taken up in so-and-so this and so-and-so that and the flooring and the cable company and the divorce and career, and they never can get to, the real stuff because the pain or not having the tools or the ability to work through the everyday grind or the everyday hustle, is hard for them. And so the work that you've done to get to the point, not saying you're there, you've arrived, or you should be feeling perfect, or everything, should always be perfect, because it's not. While you're in this body, you always have opportunities to expand and to grow and to step further into, a connected consciousness, to oneness, to, working with what energy actually is, what vibration actually is, to actually becoming that creator, to breaking through a lot of the limits that you think you have because of the fleshly body, because of the way the collective places limits on us. So you've got a lot of different areas you can go in. So I'm not saying like, oh, you should have no pain right now, or you should have, you should be totally, because it's not about not having pain. While you are on this plane with this space and time, you're never going to come into a time where you're not going to have contrast. You're never going to come into a space and time where you're always feeling good, always in utopia, always, just blissed out, and there's literally nothing that you see or that you're experiencing that's not in a contrast of what you do want and what you don't want. We are in a world of contrast. I mean, that's where you're at. So you're never going to arrive at that. But what you can do is radically change where your mind goes, your mindset, the thoughts that take over in the stories that you tell, that really control almost your reactions at any given moment. You can radically alter and transform your regular and standard and almost home emotional frequency, your home emotional state. You can radically, step into your personal power, where you are the one that can choose whether to go off on a trigger or whether to stay grounded and completely empowered, not stepping into any kind of story, that you're aware of every bit of space that you're occupying at any time, that you actually are the creator of your experience, that you are in control of when somebody does something, of whether you take it personally or whether you have it applied to anything to do with you or not. Because most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't really have anything to do with you. Even when people blame you and they're angry with you, they do something bad to you, they, disrespect you, they act out of integrity. Most of the time it has zero to do with you. And so you have the opportunity to transform and to step into that true creator energy, where you're no longer buffeted about. You're no longer not in control. And if you choose to give up your power in a situation, you're well aware that you're doing it. You're well aware. And that really, alters at its very core of your experience of life. Your experience at any given time, you get to choose the emotional range that you occupy. You get to choose, your happiness, your joy, your contentment, your confidence, what you're involved with. You're no longer reacting. reacting to what's happening around you, you're creating it. you know. And it's like whether something happens bad or good, you have, you know, I say quote unquote bad or good, you know, judging why one door closes or why something you didn't desire to happen happens. You know, you're no longer reacting to that, you know, in the sense of a negative way, or oh my gosh, this bad thing happened to me, or whatever. You're looking for growth and opportunity and expecting growth and opportunity. You're expecting, you know, a divine outpouring, you know, and you're not trying to even define what that looks like. You don't even need to see some mountaintop miracle, because you already embody mountaintop miracle from every standpoint. And so it's not getting lost in this lower vibrational daily grind, you know, where we really tend to define ourselves. You know, it's stepping up into, again, no longer being a reactor in your life, but being that creator. And that comes from being very much in control of the stories you tell, of the limiting beliefs that get activated. You know, sometimes so quietly in the back of our mind, we have beliefs about who we are or where we come from. You know, we have beliefs that are ingrained, and you have an emotional reaction to those things. You know, when you correct or are aware of any of the stories, you are now in control of your response to that. That's no longer unconscious. It's no longer kind of there where you're not aware of it. And that's where we're going. That's what you're desiring. That's what